All right, good evening, everyone. Jose J. Garcia, real estate investor, coach, and mentor. So we have the Sunday coaching series. There we go, for Instagram as well. And Instagram, if you want to join us on Zoom, you're welcome to go to garciamhu.com, click on the coaching, and you'll be able to hit the tab on coaching events. It's every Sunday. So a few more people are still spinning on Zoom, but here we go. We're letting them in. So this isn't every Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We hold this coaching call. Different topic every week. And don't forget, on Wednesday evenings at 7 p.m. is where we hold the extensive, the more dive in deep into the coaching of that topic, the same topic it is. So it almost like it piggybacks on Sunday to Wednesday will be. But we'll talk a little bit more about that on towards the end of the call. So make sure y'all stay tuned for that. Any questions, drop them on the chat box. The same for Instagram here. Zoom, you can just unmute yourself at any point if you like. Also speak up. But all right, let's see a couple things here. Good. So this is another coaching call that was requested, and that is something that y'all can do. If we see enough questions of the same, we will make it coaching based on that. Also, I like to make videos and kind of answer everybody's question at one time, make some reels, go live, everything. Make sure you follow our social media, GarciaMHU.com. But tonight's call is how to negotiate. That's a big one. It's how to negotiate with park owners. And I'm seeing this a lot more at an early start. So I want to cover some of that also. But how to negotiate, how to build relationships with them, how to connect with them. That's huge. How to connect with park owners. When you come into any mobile home park and you to invest, whatever exit strategy you're doing, it's great when you can connect with a park manager. There's going to be that relationship you have to build, and obviously kind of, over a period of time, you'll get more investments, more opportunities, more deals, call them whatever you like. But it'll always be that more so with the park manager, which they do manage the park. You do have to go through them and be approved, whatever rule regulations. But when you're able to connect with a park owner and come from a park owner's side, those park manager would treat you more like almost like a business owner, which you are. You're investing with them. You are more, in a sense, partnering with the park owners. So you're seeing a little bit differently. It's the way I put it is, when I come into parks that I've already connected with park owners, I've never seen the park yet, more so a research, and I'm brought into, they treat you a lot differently. So it is good to also go after park owners, but never, okay, some of you write this down, never try to get to the park owner through the park manager. That will not go well. That will not set well. So don't try to do that. If you're already dealing with the park manager, deal with them. If they connect you with a park owner, fabulous. Okay. All right. So Instagram, I don't know why your camera keeps turning off and on, but I'll keep an eye on it. For some reason, Instagram keeps on cutting our video. Could be our internet connection. But I'm saying we're transferring offices, so y'all bear with me. But let's jump on to the call, and don't forget, pay attention to the chat box. There are announcements that come on there as well. So let's see. All right. So adding value right away. Okay. When you're trying to connect with any park manager, park owner, have in mind, how do I add value? A lot of the new investors, a lot of investors are all about them. Everything is I'm going to do this. I'm going to rehab this mobile home. I'm going to wholesale this mobile home. I'm going to this. I'm going to that. Park owners and park managers do not see value in what you're saying. If they already deal with other investors and you sound just like them, you're not going to stand out. Why do they need you if they got somebody else? If they had investors there before and they've been burnt by them, meaning that somebody came there saying they're going to do this, do that, didn't do any of the above, instead left the park in worse condition than before they came in, they're not going to welcome you with open arms. It's going to be more of a issue and one of those where you're going to have to play follow-up key to get to it. Yes, follow-up is key. Okay. We're doing a shadow event I think this midsummer last year. And one of the questions while we were walking through the mobile home park, through the mobile homes was how do you connect with park managers? How do you connect with park owners? And one specific investor student, he's doing phenomenal now, but at the time, he said, oh, they don't really want to talk to me. So I tell them to, off. I said, wow. So if a park manager answers you and they don't want to connect with you or do business with you, your response is to basically let them be. And he said, yeah, I just don't care to deal with them. Well, here's the thing. And the same thing that I told to him is, follow-up is key. It has taken me sometimes weeks, sometimes months. The longest it's ever taken me is 6 months to get into the mobile home park. But I've always said he or she, park manager who gives me the strongest no, is where I want to pursue and invest. Now, obviously, fill them out. If it's something that's never going to become of a thing, don't waste your time. Don't burn your time there. There's many parks that will welcome you, of course. But typically, when a park manager says, no, we don't need your services, it is more so they've been burnt. They've been left with the park again in worse condition than before investors came in, and therefore they don't want to deal with another one of those. And that's how they relate to you. You're just another investor. But whenever they allow you to come in, and this will happen through follow up every other week, every 3 weeks, once a month, check in. Hey, and just kind of you don't deal with investors, but I'm still in the area, so forth and so on. And when they finally let you in, and they will, well, I guess we got one sitting. If you want to come and check that one out, only that one, we'll see what we can do. That's door in. Whenever they let you into the park, you're going to be their only go-to investor. Because remember, somebody else burnt the bridge. Now you have to come in and rebuild it, but now they have you. And if you do what you say you're going to do, you're going to be their go-to. And that's part of what we're going to be talking about is how to become their go-to investor. They're not going to want to break with another investors. Now, we bring many students, many investors, but it kind of goes through us. And it's more through, hey, they've been through GMHU coaching, they're investors, we bring them in, then they're welcome. We built our credibility, if you will. So, it takes time, but never take it no personal. That's, in business, you can't be personal. You can't act out of emotion. So if they say no, follow up. Don't be a pest. And here's another tip for y'all. Do not call park managers on the first week of the month. That is the busiest time for them, as that's usually law rents, late law rents, rules, regulations, check-ins, all kind of stuff. Don't do that. Okay. I'll give you that tip. And that came from a park manager said to me. So we live and we learn. Okay. Add multiple services. Don't be just a one type exit strategy with anything that you do. I'm a wholesaler. That's all that I do. That's fine. I know many wholesalers. I actually have a couple investor friends and partners who one of them, that's all he does, and he's very successful at it. So good for him. But I would say, why ever limit yourself from anything else you can do? With mobile homes, unlike real estate, and not one is better than the other, but we can do a lot more exit strategies. And we welcome a few more this year, 2022. As a matter of fact, 3 brand new exit strategies. You can move a mobile home. You cannot move a house. And yes, somebody once said, yeah, they have a TV show where they move houses. I can assure you they are not moving houses for the same amount as they do mobile homes. So for that being said, we're out. Okay. That may be once in a blue moon, whatever it may be. Mobile homes are mobile. They're meant to be transported mobily. Now, even though there is expenses, there's permits, inspections, it doesn't matter. All the above can be done because originally mobile homes were meant to be transported. Think of them like a large RV or camper. Okay. So it's exit strategies that you can do from that. Maybe do rentals, rent to owns, flip them. Okay. Come in, rehab them, maybe put them on the market. Offer many exit strategies, but offer many services to park managers and park owners. A park owner, park manager does not make money from a mobile home that is sitting, a distressed unit sitting there, right? Matter of fact, it costs them money because remember, at the end of the year, there is real property, real estate, which is the land under it that needs to be paid. Now, if a park owner or park manager is paying for that, but there's no tenant paying lot rent, or there is a tenant but not paying lot rent, then they're losing money. They're losing money and they're forking money above that. So those are services. And I'm giving you all these tips because these are ways into the door. It's not so much about everything you are going to provide or not. Some parks, maybe they're full. Maybe there's no extra pads. That's my next one. If there's extra vacant pads or if there's extra pads that could be put on, okay, that's another next level of investing. Maybe there's a park that has 20 mobile homes there. What if I could make some phone calls to the city, building department, building inspection, and say, hey, can we add some new pads to this? Would it be potential that you call that park owner and say, hey, as part of my due diligence, my homework, I was making some phone calls and seeing about some parks getting some growth being done to them. We actually mentioned your park. Now, some may not like that, but some, if they understand business like business, will welcome that immediately. Did you know that your park can actually have 10 additional pads developed on it? That means 10 extra lot rents every month times whatever you charge times a year equals, you see where I'm going with that is the numbers. That's the numbers. And that is huge to anybody because that's what we get in business for. No park manager, park owner, especially park owner, got into business to lose money. And there's always ways to get creative. But when you come in and you're offering all these services, you see how you're standing out from the competition. Okay. Other investors may only be doing the one thing exit strategy while you're coming in to actually help and build the part. So that's huge for your part. So offer it multiple exit strategies. Okay. Uh, GarciaMHU.com is the website. Okay. Mobile homes without titles. I want to say, what was it, last month? I think I've done more bonded titles than any other time. I mean, I spent hours. Yes, and it is me out there. Okay. I got admins, I got reps, I got sales agents, but sometimes you got to get out there and do it yourself. And that's, when I need to get involved, I am involved. And I was handshaking sergeants and deputies and sheriffs and, getting out there to verifying fence. One of the things that a lot of park owners run into is having mobile homes that are left behind without titles. There is a very legal standpoint from that where they can't just come in and take over. They can, and some do. Okay, that's a lot of risk to take on. But if the owner comes back to claim it, or it can involve a lot of court visits that you don't want to get yourself involved. So what happens is they typically leave them alone and make them part of, well, that's just going to sit there forever. That's usually the way they treat it. So the backstory behind that is typically, all right, if a resident owns their mobile home, okay, and they get behind lot rent, they can only get behind lot rent so many months before, which I think now it's like a month, before they get evicted. They get set up for eviction. Now, when it happens that way, it's not just themselves; it is them and their home, which means that they'll get served with a notice saying, "All right, well, you're going to be evicted. There will be a court visit." Comes in place on that as well. But along with that is also you will have to move your mobile home out of the park. Now, the downside to that, the most mobile home owners, is that even though mobile homes are mobile, they're not very affordable. To move a mobile home today, especially when we've seen rates sky high, like everything else, right? Everything is ballooning. To move a single wide from point A to point B, typically 50-mile radius or less, you're talking about anywhere from 4,000 to 6,000.
Oh,
Okay, 4,000 to 6,000 for a single wide. It used to be 2,000 to 3,000. Still not as affordable as you would want. But what happens is with the double wides is always double the amount, double or triple the amount. So, yeah, bear with me 1 second. Trying to cover a couple things here, and welcome, good evening, everybody else on Instagram. Apparently we got some wonderful people checking into our calls here. Bear with me, y'all. So we are removing a couple people here, y'all. Bear with me, my apologies. All right, so let's keep going. So all right, I'm going to say this one time on this call. If you have nothing productive on this call, there's plenty of other Zooms you can go join in. Go join Poor Clubhouse. Okay. So we are trying to coach a class at this time. So all right, let's keep going. So the double wides are always double the cost or more. So again, if goodness, how do you disable this? Goodness.
I do apologize. They're obviously hacking into accounts. I'm not saying any of that. So they're hacking into accounts. The GMHU admin is not typing that.
Well, it's part of. Moving along. Let me. All right. I think we got rid of the wonderful people. So. All right, moving along. Let's keep going. We don't waste time with naysayers, negativity. Got no room for it. Okay, so it is what it is. Trouble tenants. If there is trouble tenants with the managers, look, I can keep on adding more and more of these topics. Look, the more services, the more ways that you can help out a park manager and a park owner, the more they're going to welcome you there. Let's get to the part where we're actually starting negotiating, because that's what a lot of you want to listen to. So negotiating into. I would never come into a new park trying to negotiate or over trying to negotiate. You know, even us with our credibility that we've built, you know, I'm able to come in and ask for maybe a month of no lot rent, even up to 3 months, no lot rent as part of the agreements. Now, we are talking about multiple mobile homes versus just one or two. If you're new to any mobile home park and, you know, it does not look good to come in and say, hey, how about a couple months, no lot rent? How about lowering my lot rent? How about locking my lot rent to X amount for X amount of years? All can be done, but you never should ask that pre-hand starting out. Okay, that is something that, you know, like I say, is we've earned that. We've earned that, and typically what you can do is come in and do one investment, do one mobile home with them. Okay, go all out. Whatever you say you're going to do it, and go above and beyond, and then you get your next one. Okay, get your next one, and then after that, I would say go ahead and ask for some incentives. Go ask for no lot rent. You know, when I first got started, I was not only paying lot rent immediately, but I was also paying deposit. So it was like, if even $300, for instance, coming in too, it was all right. Well, 300 are due, and there's a 300 deposit, and that was for every mobile home. So right away, I was out 600. You get the deposit back, of course, if you flip them and you sell them or whatever, transfers owners. But it's the point that, you know, we had to come up with that in additional to whatever we had on the rehab, on the purchase of the mobile home. So I would never come in and ask for the above. Now, luckily for y'all, through our GMHU connections, is a lot of you don't have to pay a deposit at all. The majority of y'all don't even have to do backgrounds. Okay, I got 2 new students that they couldn't believe that they're coming into one of the parks, and they're like, all right, well, is it okay if I use my previous report I got? It's a little older than a month, but it's the background. I said, you don't have to do that with us. You know, that's a huge plus too. Now, I can't do that with every park, because we do abide by every rule, regulation, regardless of who it is, including ourselves. But it is things that we can bypass you by coming in through our credibility. But again, you know, coming into certain things like that, you know, there's a lot of rules, a lot of regulations, and you have to come in almost as if you're a tenant. You are an investor. You're not going to live in the park unless you are going to live in the park. Okay. But come in with that aspect of, I'm going to be treated like a tenant. I need to abide the rules like a tenant. Don't try to bypass something. Don't try to ask for more than you're getting. You know, everything is negotiable. Yes. And it should be. There is a certain extent where somebody may be asking for, you know, park owner may want $10,000 for a mobile home that really is only worth 1,000 per se. Then I would, of course, negotiate, but always coach as well. You know, always be in coaching mode where you're also going to be letting them know why it is that you're offering what you're offering. Never just bounce back an idea of something. And, you know, we have new park owners that we connect with daily, and some of them are a little outrageous. Some of them do not understand the all the benefit that having us there is going to be. And that's okay. Again, you know, for everyone that says no, there's a yes. No today does not mean it's not going to be a yes tomorrow or in the near future. So we always build that connection and just keep following up. But I've had some park owners that, you know, unless you pay the exact amount for a mobile home, unless you pay a deposit, some even ask for the first and second month's law rent, then we'll decide on. You know, again, when I think of those people there, I'm thinking, you know, you obviously have dealt with the wrong investors, or you have not dealt with any investors. You do not value the value just yet, and that's fine, but it keeps going. Because remember, if they have a mobile home sitting, or they have an empty pad sitting, 1 month is going to go by, 2 months is going to go by, 3 months is going to go by. And as this is adding up, when I keep following up with them, I'm going to ask them from time to time. Now you're charging, it used to be 200-300 for a lot rent. We're looking more like 500. So let's say you're charging $500 per pad. Now you have one empty pad and you have one distressed home, neither of which is making you money. So if you lost 500 each month and it's 3 months now, that's 1,500 per pad. You've lost $3,000 worth of revenue. We can come in and this is what we can offer. So you see how that starts turning the tables around. Now they need you, not the other way around. And of course, anytime somebody needs you, you're in better standing, right? So you try to position yourself in that. But negotiating, I would say, build value first, offer services, be there for them, and go all out where you can. Especially when you're getting started, make sure that you're doing exactly what you say you're going to be doing and then some before you start asking for any type of incentives, any kind of lot rent. But I will say to add to that is, yes, you know, one of the agreements that we agree with most park owners is you cannot move the mobile home out of the park for 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, okay? Now, there is a gray area in there where they can't tell you to move it, you can't move it, but if it's an agreement and both parties, the buyer and the seller agree, then it's an agreement. That's part of, right? But what's going to happen with those 3-5 years, you know, my bounce back to that would be like, well, you know, park owner, you know, I'm fine with agreeing 3-5 years. As a matter of fact, I don't like to take a mobile home out of a park. I like to bring mobile homes into a park. But if you're going to lock me up for 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, then I also want to make sure that my lot rent is within, I can also profit. It is all how you speak to these people. Is it possible that my lot rent does not go up for those 3 years or those 5 years, or maybe half a term? You see, that is part of negotiating now because you're securing them. So maybe I want a little security as well. Some of the parks we've done business with, you know, 1-in-1 of Robins, great park, beautiful. It is massive now. I mean, it was pretty big when we began in too, but it is just, I mean, new homes are coming in. And that park went from 285, probably less than 2 years ago, 400 today. And it is set to go up again, possibly in, I think, October, maybe for another $25. So you see the escalating, it is steady going up, steady going up. Now this here, you know, you would say, oh, it's only $25 more. It's only $15 more. Well, if you have an RTO, if you have a note, if you're financing for somebody and or even renting to somebody in that park, those numbers will affect your numbers. If you don't put it in writing in agreements, for instance, and you're collecting, say, 400 net per mobile home, now the lot rent is going up. Yours is going to start to diminish unless yours goes up. So you gotta have to keep that in mind as well. So, all right, 30 minutes went by fast, always does on Sundays. And like I said, on Wednesdays, you know, we go a lot more in depth this. I want to show you a lot more strategies in this. This Wednesday coming up, we are going to push to have a park owner on the call because I want him to answer a few questions from his standpoint, his side. I can hear a little bit more on that. So let's talk a little bit about Wednesday. Every Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, anywhere from 30, 60, or 90-minute calls. All those are for coaching. Those are for members only. Now, if you are not a member and you've not yet joined us one time, you can join for free, no charge for the first time, and then send us an email or a DM. You can follow us on all of our social media. These videos do get recorded, of course, so it will be available for the replay tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, it'll be on our YouTube. So Tuesdays, do not forget every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have the Let's Do Deals. That's where we pitch deals. I know there's a couple investors that are going to be on the call pitching their deals. So definitely come and join us for that also. But that'll be a good call on there. Let's see. And then do not forget August 6th, Naples, Florida. A few more people have messaged me and a couple people have said they'll show up, but they don't want to RSVP. There are limited seats. So if you don't want to RSVP, you know, you may want to. Not to mention, if you RSVP, then you will get the actual location. The location that is actually put out there for now is kind of a standard Starbucks downtown 5th Street in Naples, Florida, but it is going to be about two or three stores down. We're thinking at a different location. So definitely join us for that. If you are in the area, send us a DM if you want to join us virtually. We may go live on Instagram as well. That is a level up networking. And that's something we're going to start doing. I'm thinking every second Thursday of the month. Now it's going to be at our new office as well in near Atlanta, Georgia, where we're going to be hosting this. But stay tuned for a lot of these things. And that's what we're doing is we're shifting into a lot more things. You know, everybody's tired of Zoom. Let's face it. Everybody's tired of logging into Zoom. Somebody say Skype earlier. Skype. Nobody's on Skype. Everybody's on Zoom. But Zoom is getting old. It is time to 3D, shake hands, and be in person. So we're going to open those floors to start doing a lot more events every other week or so at our actual offices, conferences, and we'll start rotating. So we'll be in Florida maybe one of the months, maybe North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, Alabama, again, the states that we cover, and as part of the growing growth, because we will start going out towards West. Texas, we are going to be in Texas, I promise, very soon. So a lot is coming up, but send us an email if you're interested in any of the upcoming events, and we will have a page for that as well. That being said, I don't see any questions. Again, some of the remarks here, those don't face me none. I grew up around haters, naysayers, and negativity. Don't affect me none. Okay, I'm full of positivity. So what I got to say about a naysayer and a hater, kill them with success, because that's something they can acquire. All right, everyone, have a good night, and thank you for watching.